Welcome to the midweek update for the 31st week of 2025 here on the Brisbane channel, and this one is packed with news and events at a state level that directly affect all of us living in Greater Brisbane's 5 LGAs, or shires if you're old school. Last week's teacher strike, Ekka showbag safety DNA testing lab issues, 2032 Olypmic updates, deforestation of endangered forests, and much, much more. Last week saw some 50,000 teachers across the state walk off the job as members of the teachers' union expressed their dissatisfaction with pay and working conditions. While wages are one element of what they're seeking, working conditions are perhaps the main motivation for teachers to stage a strike of this magnitude for the first time since 2009. For primary school classes, the average class size in OECD countries is 21 students, while in Queensland classes are capped at 25 up to Year 3 and 28 for Years 4 to 10. Here's what the president of the Teachers Union, Cresta Richardson, had to say to the Brisbane channel.
Yeah, look, our members are under a lot of pressure at the moment and they're not seeing the support come into the school. There have been programs that have been implemented, but they're not being felt at the school level. We have a critical teacher shortage in Queensland. It's felt all over the state. And we want to be able to say, well, we can resolve this and this is how we resolve it. There's not really a concrete workforce plan. And in the meantime, everybody's workload continues to increase. Teachers are getting more and more fatigued. It's harder for school leaders. We're all picking up the load and we're doing more with less.
One University of Queensland study that surveyed just under 2,000 teachers found high levels of compassion fatigue, secondary traumatic stress and burnout among educators. We also ran into the former Queensland Premier Stephen Miles on the day.
Well, I was really proud to stand today alongside our Queensland teachers and support them. They've got a really strong message about what it's like in their classrooms right now and how undervalued they're feeling by this government, and I wanted to support them in that voice.
The dispute between teachers and the Department of Education comes as the current state government has just released a report commissioned in 2022 under the former state government detailing the state of Queensland's 1,266 schools, 178 early childhood facilities and 27 outdoor environment education centres owned by the Department of Education. 1 in 3 was found to be in poor or very poor condition, and more than a third were only rated as fair. Damage identified included leaking roofs, exposed ceiling trusses, crumbling retaining walls and rusted gutters. The estimated repair bill is $441 million. According to the independent report, funding originally allocated to maintenance and renewal was pooled and reallocated to new halls, playgrounds and arts centres. The current state government points out a commitment to fixing things in the education system, but only time will tell if it's pretty words or an actual commitment. From the thousands of teachers that attended the march in Brisbane last week, I think I know which one they think it is. With the Ekka on this week, over 300 showbags have had safety inspections to ensure safe and age-appropriate content inside. Only a handful of items were found that didn't comply with consumer safety law. 3 cosmetic products were found that didn't have correct labelling of ingredients, and 1 pair of sunglasses was missing required UV labelling. All of the issues have now been rectified by the suppliers, but inspectors from the Office of Fair Trading will be at the Ekka rechecking showbags as well as prizes at Sideshow Alley and products from stallholders. But let's get to 2 reports released recently after investigation into the Forensic Science Queensland lab. This is where things like rape kits and forensic DNA samples are processed for the state. The first report by esteemed forensic biologist Dr. Kirsty Wright found that there were systemic contamination issues that resulted in unreliable DNA results being provided to police and courts from 2023. According to the report, the current turnaround time for DNA results to be used in investigation of major crimes is 412 days, while the time required by the Queensland Police is just 14 days. Rape kits should be tested within 2 to 8 weeks, but as of September 2024, testing was taking more than 12 months. The second investigation was conducted by former FBI expert Dr. Bruce Boudal. He found a troubling amount of environmental contamination along with sample contamination. Once raised by the review team, that led to a full pause in routine testing at the lab, which certainly wouldn't help with the backlog. He also found calculation errors in kinship and paternity testing dating back several years. Police evidence indicated that the issues at the lab had seriously impeded active investigations. The review also identified a toxic workplace culture and a tendency to take a reactive crisis management approach. In response to the situation, the state government has announced a new team led by former New South Wales Police Commissioner Mick Fuller to overhaul forensic operations in Queensland. $50 million has also been allocated to help resolve the DNA processing backlog by outsourcing thousands of samples for testing. Perhaps you're planning to get away from all of this for a while, and if you're planning to travel overseas, you really should take out travel insurance. And the sponsor of this video, Wise and Silent Travel Insurance, is offering a 10% discount for viewers of the Brisbane channel. Wise and Silent won Best International Travel Insurance for Value in Finder's 2024 Travel Insurance Awards because it costs less on average but covers you for more. They're also the official travel insurance provider for passengers on Scoot Airlines. Backed by a global insurance provider and a 24/7 medical assistance team, the rave reviews on Trustpilot confirm that you can travel with total peace of mind if you choose Wise and Silent for your next overseas trip. Click this QR code or the link in the video description to get your exclusive 10% discount on your premium. Let's get to the 2032 Olympic and Paralympic Games updates. This month, The Geek has launched their expression of interest for a delivery partner for the Games. They've also opened registrations of interest for organisations in the design and construction sector to work with The Geek on delivery of 17 new and upgraded venues. The Geek's industry briefing saw over 1,500 participants, so it seems there's no lack of interest. The announcements coincided with the appointment of a permanent CEO for The Geek, Simon Crooks, who will lead the implementation of the 2032 delivery plan. Just this week, it was announced that early works on the transformation of the Brisbane Showgrounds will begin shortly after the Ekka winds up. The site will be the home of the Brisbane Athletes Village, and the show arena will also be upgraded. Some viewers of the Brisbane channel have asked about how the development will affect the future Ekkas, and the state government is saying that the upgraded arena will breathe new life into the Ekka and that it will run uninterrupted until the Olympics. However, it's unclear how the Athletes Village will affect other areas of the showgrounds. The RNA CEO Brendan Christou has said there will need to be some compromises. We'll keep an eye out for updates in that space. But one positive is that the Athletes Village will become housing after the Games, and more housing is never a bad thing. However, the Premier David Crisafulli has refused to answer any questions about how much of the housing will be affordable or social housing. Remember that as we get to the next update. While we're talking housing, two development schemes in Brisbane are being fast-tracked in Woolloongabba and Hamilton. The Woolloongabba Priority Development Area, or PDA, is expected to deliver 16,000 new homes, while the North Shore Hamilton PDA, which has been altered after the Athletes Village, originally slated for the area, was moved to the showgrounds, will provide 10,000 homes. However, the Greens have pointed out that the government is proposing an amended scheme for the Woolloongabba PDA that deletes the requirement for social or affordable housing. Under the original scheme, there was the requirement for a minimum of 20% total residential GFA as high-quality social or affordable housing on site. But the proposed new scheme, released on the 7th of this month, has removed that requirement. In addition, the original PDA requires a minimum of 50% of the Cross River Rail Sub-Area 1B to be open space, including a central park, but the amended scheme contains no reference to any form of open space and has removed areas previously highlighted for open space investigation. The Greens suggest this is paving the way for the privatisation of public land, opening up land that could have been used for facilities to make the newly developed areas more livable, such as parks, libraries, pools, expanded schools and community hubs, and instead squeezing in more apartment blocks that those on modest incomes are priced out of. So while the amended PDA scheme will be great for developers and will add to housing supply, the removal of aspects of the original plan do raise questions about where the priorities of the state government really lie. If you get any value from these updates on the Brisbane channel, you can say thanks by following this link to buy me a coffee, or support the channel in a deeper way by becoming a member, which also gets you access to extra benefits. Thanks to these members for their continued support of the Brisbane channel. One initiative that may help deliver more affordable housing is the new opt-in planning tool released by the state government to support supply of more community housing on church and charity-owned land. It's provided as a model that can be adopted and adapted by local councils to approve housing on underutilised land, and has been praised by religious groups as well as the Local Government Association of Queensland. It's the result of months of collaboration between state and local government bodies. Earlier we looked at the Hamilton and Woolloongabba PDAs, and another PDA further north has recently been announced. The North Harbour PDA, located in Burpengary East, Moreton Bay, will add some 3,700 new homes, including 200 that have been fast-tracked in an early development area. Included in the plan are a 400-berth marina, maritime industry infrastructure, tourism and hotel precincts, which are expected to generate nearly 2,000 jobs and $456 million per year for the economy in the area. But with increased development can come other impacts if not managed well, and the recently released Statewide Land Cover and Trees Study Report, or SLATS, shows that clearing of land that should be protected is increasing. According to the report, in southeast Queensland, 289 hectares of endangered forest were completely cleared, and almost 500 hectares were partially cleared. Almost 2,500 hectares of forests identified as of concern were also fully or partially cleared. Not a great time to be alive if you're a tree. Over in Ipswich, upgrades designed to help alleviate ambulance ramping and to ease the burden on health services have been announced, with the latest being a new transit care centre for Ipswich Hospital. Transit lounges are interim waiting areas used for patients awaiting discharge or admission and for outpatient appointments. They free up inpatient beds and ensure emergency and acute care spaces are available to those who need them most. The new Ipswich Transit Care Centre is expected to be complete by June next year and will double the size of the current one, expanding from 5 beds and 8 chairs to 10 beds and 14 chairs. A few quick bites to round out the update. Queensland Rail has celebrated 160 years of rail in Queensland. Local celebrations included a 90-minute loop trip on a steam train on the 31st of July. Play On vouchers are now available. As mentioned in previous updates, they're $200 vouchers that can be used for sporting activities for children aged between 5 and 17, as long as their names appear on a Medicare card. This one isn't the most recent news, but the new theatre that is part of the Queensland Performing Arts Centre, or QPAC, has been officially named. It will be known as the Glass House. Surprisingly, Theatery McTheatreface didn't end up winning, but I personally don't mind the Glass House as a name. A quick update on Cross River Rail developments, and the jump form of the building above the main station entrance at Albert Street Station has been completed. The jump is the central structure that is used in large vertical buildings during construction. This means that things are progressing, but apparently it's a significant milestone in a building's construction. If you missed Sunday's weekly update video, you should watch that next. I'm still looking for an ending catchphrase, so I'll just say, "Shatsa Jen."